Azerbaijan, a country in the eastern part of South Caucasus. In the east, it is washed by the Caspian Sea, a country with ancient history and culture that goes back several thousand years. By its territory and population, Azerbaijan is the largest country in the Transcaucasus. People have been settling here since time immemorial. That's largely due to the physico-geographical conditions and the location at the intersection of migration and trade routes that stretch from north to south and from west to east. At all times, the territory of Azerbaijan, located on the route of the historic Silk Road, connected Europe and Asia and had a strategic importance in combining trade and economic ties with faraway countries. In ancient times, caravans bound for Europe passed through China, Central Asia and Azerbaijan. This route from the Orient to Western countries was first used to transport silk and later spices, gold, silver, pearls and many other goods. From Europe to countries of the East, merchants used to bring tin, zinc, mercury, cloth fabrics and other merchandise. For their own comfort, merchants created infrastructure and built caravanserais. Even in those days, in Azerbaijan, all necessary conditions were in place to provide for security and convenient movement of goods. Azerbaijan was one of major trade and transportation interchanges. Today, even though relations among countries are at a totally different level, the importance of trade routes remains relevant. In this respect, a special role is played by railways. The history of Azerbaijan railways goes back more than 130 years. It began with the construction of a 20-kilometer railroad from Baku to the settlements of Surakani and Sabunchi, along which crude oil was transported in tanks. The construction of this railway was completed on January 20th, 1880, and this date went down in history as the Day of Azerbaijan Railways. As the demand for oil transportation started to grow, the infrastructure of Azerbaijan's railways was further developed. Those were the times when the main railway lines were built. The year 1883 saw the construction of Baku-Tbilisi-Batumi Railway, connecting the shores of the Caspian and Black Seas. In 1890, another railway was built. It connected Balajari, a settlement near Baku, and the town of Derbent in Russia. Thus, Azerbaijan created a nationwide north and west-bound railway network for transportation of oil and petroleum products. Given today's realities, the development of railways in Azerbaijan has become a priority. To address this challenge, the government of Azerbaijan is taking important steps. Special attention is paid to the transit corridors passing through Azerbaijan. The first of them is the East-West Transport Corridor, also known as the Trans-Caspian International Transport Route. This route runs through China, Kazakhstan, Azerbaijan, Georgia, and through the Black Sea Basin onto Europe. The second one is called the International North-South Transport Corridor. This route runs through India, Gulf states, Iran, Azerbaijan and via Russia onto the Baltic and Scandinavian countries. The third route, passing through Azerbaijan and known as Southwest, goes through India, Gulf states, Iran, Azerbaijan, Georgia and through the Black Sea Basin onto Europe. The fourth project is the piggyback Viking train, which Azerbaijan joined recently. It provides transportation of goods from the port of Klaipeda to the port of Ilychevsk via Lithuania, Belarus and Ukraine. With the accession of Georgia and Azerbaijan, this project makes it possible to transport goods farther from the port of Ilychevsk to the port of Batumi and along the existing routes of Georgia and Azerbaijan on to Central Asia, China, Iran and India. In the development of Azerbaijan railways, special importance is attached to infrastructure projects that reinforce the country's transit potential. Two of them will be completed shortly. The first one will connect the railways of Azerbaijan and Iran. This project plays an important role in the development of multiple corridors and is carried out in 3 stages. It includes the construction of an 8.3-kilometer railway and a bridge across the river connecting two Astara border stations between Azerbaijan and Iran, as well as the construction of a 1.7-kilometer railway to Astara terminal in Iran. Also, it is here that the procedure of changing train wheels will take place in the future. Next, construction of a 167-kilometer section from Astara station to Rasht station is planned. In addition, a connection between the railway stations Kazvin and Rasht is to be finished soon. Upon the completion of those stages, it will be possible to carry freights by rail all the way up to the Persian Gulf. Currently, southbound cargoes are carried by rail to Azerbaijan's Astara station and then by trucks across the border with Iran onto Kazvin station. Then, from Kazvin station on by rail again. This is the shortest route from the Persian Gulf to Russia and the Black Sea region. The railway connecting Azerbaijan and Turkey. The project involves the construction and modernization of the Baku-Tbilisi-Kars segment with a total length of 849 kilometers. The construction of the Tbilisi-Akalaki-Kartsaki railway is funded by the government of Azerbaijan. The construction of the Kartsaki-Kars section is financed by the Turkish government. This route also provides an alternative access through the port of Mersin to the Mediterranean region. Once the Baku-Tbilisi-Kars and the Astara-Rasht-Kazvin projects are fully implemented, Azerbaijan will complete its transformation into a regional hub between China and Central Asia on the one hand and the Black Sea region and Europe on the other, as well as between India and the Gulf region on the one hand and Russia and Northern Europe on the other. Having the advantages of a well-developed infrastructure, modern terminals, new freight wagons, warehouses, ports and competitive rates, we provide advanced logistics services which meet all international requirements.
Geographical positions is very preferable, so investments in transportation infrastructure, including railroads, airports, seaport, and others, allows us to be a crossroad of transportation infrastructure. Already, the east-west transportation corridor is started to work, and hopefully this year we will finalize the connection of railroad between Azerbaijan, Georgia and Turkey. Thus, Europe and Asia will have a new, the shortest transportation route, and the first container train from China to Europe already passed through. So this is a new Silk Road with a modern infrastructure, and we made a proposal to our partners to have a single tariff in transportation in order to make this route attractive. Another transportation route which we are actively working with our neighbors and partners is north-south transportation. This will allow cargoes to be transported from Pakistan, India, Iran, Azerbaijan, Russia, Northern Europe. And Azerbaijan is investing in the modern infrastructure, and hopefully very soon this route also will be in operation. So all these routes are crossing our territory, and of course this increases the geopolitical importance of our country. This will generate additional revenues which we will use for development